Good morning. My name is welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okon. I am talking about work in the United Kingdom, talking about also pay. If you work for living, you get paid in the United Kingdom or elsewhere. So if you are living in the United Kingdom, it is really reasonable to pay attention to what I am talking about. If you are living outside the UK, it is also important to pay attention to what I'm saying. And thank you so much for everybody, to everybody who have been around. And we are a small program. We are making progress. And if you are out there willing to help in one way or other, you are warmly welcome. Clicking the notification bell, clicking like, and also subscribing to this YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed before. And if you are watching, share with family and friends as well, and leave a comment below. We need your feedback to know we are on the right track. We are always talking about something sensible in one way or the other, and I do appreciate the complexity of some of the things we are doing, but that is the whole point. And if you are in the United Kingdom or in another country, check on your government website, and also seek help from experts, because some of these things are truly complicated. And you need help. You have to look for help, because you know we live in a world of independence, of empowerment. You have information. You have to be empowered by doing things for yourself. If you're a young person, if you are an adult, an elderly person, increasingly, you can still get help, but you can go online and look for information. We talk about statutory sick pay, its availability, how to get it, eligibility, the disputes. If you watch this video, watch with the rest of the video. We're talking how to get sick pay, the process, the challenges, the intricacy, the complexity. If you are in England, if you're in Northern Ireland and Scotland, also in Wales, you can find information on government website. In the UK, in your country, if you're in Europe or somewhere else, the best place to start looking at the law and policy on factors including social welfare, such as occur with employment as a factor of development and also welfare. Like I was said previously, watching this video, watch with the rest if you have time. If you don't have time, you can also access the internet and do yourself a favor. Use your brains and your intelligence to read, write, gain knowledge, gain wisdom, understanding, work and play, and concentrate, and be friendly as well. Visit friends, work hard. You work, as I'm talking about work, that is the road to success. Somebody not working is going to fail. You live in a country where the government does not support work. Engage with leaders as an individual, friends, family, communities. Be politically active, be engaged. I've been saying this over and again, because we need to speak out one way or the other. It is your life. Talk about housing, talk about crime on the street, hospitals, education. Talk about work, talk about pay, we talk about money given by the government to complement income, low pay, problem of poverty. I've been talking about this. We cannot get tired of talking about this. So you check with your employer. Check if they are actually told you, if your employer is expected to tell you how to get sick pay. And double check that they have actually told you to get sick pay. Because sometimes they don't tell you how or whether even. Sometimes you don't even know whether you should get a sick pay. This is what this information is about. In the United Kingdom and also in your country, if you don't live in the UK, because we are a global society, we are global individuals. It is our responsibility to understand things. We need to understand things of essence. Employment and pay is our lifeline. It is quite important, especially young people who rightly believe their parents should look after them, and they do. But increasingly, if you're a young person with technology, you could be the one to look after your parents if you are still a young person, because technology is working for young people, working for disabled people, working for the elderly, working for everybody. Is transforming society. Conventional mode of work is disappearing. A lot of people will be unemployed in the next decades, maybe 50 to 100 years. The next generation, most of them will be out of work and out of income. That's why it is important now going forward to take responsibility. That's the purpose of this program. Leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts. So there is something called Fit Not in the United Kingdom. If you are fit, if you are not fit, leave a comment below what you think Fit Not is. I don't know. All I know is that you are asked by the authority to produce Fit Not, to provide evidence that you are healthy or sick or fit for work. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, but you need to know how to get Fit Not, to provide evidence, to get to have a prospect of statutory sick pay. That is a process indicating how you will be able to get statutory sick pay. So there are moments when you get Fit Not, which I just spoke about. It might be saying you are fit for work, or it might be suggesting you might be fit for work. You need to check your options. What are you going to do if you get a Fit Not to provide evidence that you are not fit for work? Because you're supposed to be not fit for work, to be incapacitated because of your sickness, to get such a sick pay. So these are factors you look at when you are trying to determine how to get Fit Not. You also look at a possibility of returning to work, because if you're sick, you have to understand the options. How do you return to work from being sick? You need to be aware of these elements of processing within the system of statutory sick pay. And therefore, the way you are paid as a sick person, if you are where you are, how you are paid sick pay necessarily. If you're sick, like I said, you get paid. My complaint, my concern has been the level of pay. Whether you're sick, whether you're healthy, whether you're working, whether you are not working in the United Kingdom, you're getting maybe some type of help from the government. But I have said there is a problem with the level of pay in the UK, which is actually designed knowingly or unknowingly to keep the British people in poverty. In a rich country like Britain, it is a form of human wrong to leave the people languishing in poverty. And also, even if it is not really a rich country like the United Kingdom, in Africa, where there is a trickling down of wealth potentially to continents, including Africa, there should not be anyone now. Increasingly, people should be getting out of poverty as of. Technology is on the increase, is supposed to create wealth, including in the developed world, including in the developing world. These are factors to look at. It is your voice. So if you don't speak up for yourself, increasingly we are becoming a human jungle of the market system. Talk about capitalism, talk about privatization, which things are really good. But if we mismanage it because we are not really good human individuals, we didn't learn our culture. We are not respecting of individuals. I've been talking about cultural economy. Leave a comment below your views, giving your views what cultural economy means to you. It's about humanity, everything centering about humanity, but being human. There are people who now behave like aliens in America, in Europe, in Africa, in different parts of the world. And they are teaching humanity, especially young people, especially people who are vulnerable in the society, teaching them bad manners, how to behave badly. And we have to call those out. We have the right, because the health is our inheritance. We inherit the health. We have 100% right to speak for our rights of inheritance as a species. We are not going to give up our inheritance to some funny looking or funny behaving aliens. There are human individuals who now behave like aliens because of human wrong. They have no respect for people. They only think about wealth. Everybody should think about wealth. Wealth is not for something else. We are not for wealth. Wealth is for us. We rule over wealth. We rule over money. We rule over everything else. Nothing we have, including the system of society, should not rule over us. We should rule over the system. And therefore, we have to be clear in our thinking and also producing a valid system of learning to include cultural education. Especially if you are a leader with a lot of power, without cultural education, with literacy, cultural literacy and cultural proficiency, you are going to be a monster with power being corrupted and also being absolutely corrupted. And you're going to be a monster, weaponizing even your individuality with so much power. You are a multimillionaire and multimillionaires, and maybe you have a political status. You are a monster. You're going to be a terror to yourself and to the people around you, to society, to our inheritance. You become a risk, security risk for our inheritance. We cannot allow that to happen, and we will stand up for what is right. And this is why I choose to speak. If you listen, if there is some vestige of humanity still left in you, you have to exercise it and bring it into full fruition by speaking and also adjusting the way you think, prioritizing your values mechanism, looking at humanity as a priority, everything else evolving around. See, humanity is the center of the universe from our perspective, and we have the right to do. I speak of employment, I speak of pay, I speak of sickness when you are working, and also the system of support, financial support provided by the state. And the logic, the sensibility surrounding this is that these things are to support people who cannot support themselves effectively, people who are vulnerable. The system which we operate now has created severe, extreme inequality. It doesn't matter if you're British or American or African, we are all in this together. We are humans. If you think foreigners are your problem, so be it. We are foreigners also, as black people in Africa, as wherever, maybe West Indies. We think foreigners are the pure problem for us without any qualification or whatever. Then we are out of touch, we are out of scope. We become irrelevant. This is the line of thinking, the line of conversation I'm trying to promote. Leave a comment below, let me know if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe to support it. If you know somebody who can do something to support this channel, spare no strength. And you need to speak to me. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If you are too busy to be involved, and also appreciate that, and those who are, we are happy with a few, we are happy with many. We win by a few, we win by many. It doesn't matter, but ultimately we need to grow. We are a social media system. Growth provides visibility. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, continue watching. And so your employer, like I said, should tell you, they must tell you what to do when you are you're of work or even sick, including when you should tell them when you should tell them you are sick. When should you tell your employer that you are sick? So what information you need to give them? For example, these are specifics. So if your employer hasn't told you, ask them what to do, or check your staff handbook on the internet, or the handbook or internet. These are standard information, standard operating procedure. So you should also check if your employer has rules about any extra sick pay they offer, sometimes called contractual sick pay. We've discussed this previously in the other video. Leave comment below, let me know. So this is sick pay your employer might pay, as well as statutory sick pay. We have actually made comments about statutory sick pay and sick pay. So leave a comment below, let us know your thoughts. So there are situations when you don't follow your employer's rules. Employers giving rule and you don't follow it, you will be breaking a term. Your contract with your employer, you should still get any statutory sick pay, but you might not get any extra sick pay. Your contract says you can lose your job. So these are some of the details, including the technicalities involving employment situation and payment, in terms of contract, in terms of statutory obligation and rights. So we'll look at contractual sick pay, and you can get more information on contractual sick pay online, and talk about government website, gov.uk, and also public website of Citizen Advice in the United Kingdom, which is actually the biggest advice system service in the United Kingdom, possibly also in the world, and it's in the UK here. And they have many challenges in terms of resourcing, and I've mentioned it before, but nevertheless, they are extremely important organizations across the country to help in matters of social policy, especially social policy including employment and also disputes involving payment. These are complex issues, and leave a comment below, let me know what you think. So if your employer hasn't told you how to get sick pay, necessarily you should tell your employer straight away that you are sick and cannot work. Communication. Let your employer know when your illness started, keeping a record accurately as much as you can so that you forget nothing, including non-working days. Non-working days, if you don't, you're not really scheduled to work within certain days, because you may know I think or two about qualifying a period and and days and things like that. We have been discussing that generally. You can go online and do yourself a favor and learn as much as you can. If you have the time, if you don't have the time, it's okay. So if you need to confirm, you also need to confirm your illness in writing. Writing provides more concrete evidence. Evidences are existing in different forms. So written evidence is really strong, and this is called self-certification. So self-certification, leave a comment below if you know what self-certification is. You will need to do this within 7 days. There are deadlines of telling your employer you're sick. If you told your employer you're sick today, you have a deadline of 7 days. These are really important points. You can use the employee statement of sickness from gov.uk. Talk about the employee statement of sickness. These are actually specific information which you can take interest, or if actually a lot of time we don't really pay attention unless we are in a situation, but that is okay. If you are in a situation, then this information, if you do well to remember, then it might help you. What you need to do one way or the other. Self-help, which is extremely important, so empowering, but also getting help from professionals is even more important, because these are complicated legal and policy issues. So you can actually talk about what your employer cannot tell you to do. There are things your employer can tell you to do. There are other things your employer cannot tell you to do. If you are not sure, you can get static pay, and your contract doesn't have any rules about contractual sick pay. CSP, your employer cannot demand that you tell them you are sick by a certain time or day, and these are actually rules. Make you contact them more than once a week, make you get a doctor's note until you are being sick for more than 7 days. These are things your employer cannot do, subject to statutory rights and obligation, and contractual rights and obligation in terms of in terms of sick pay generally. So your employer cannot insist you use a specific form to tell them about your in-date self-certification, like we said. You cannot ask you to cannot refuse to let someone else tell them you are sick. For example, if you are too ill to get in touch yourself. These are some of the situations. If your employer refuses to pay your sick pay because of any of these reasons, you can take steps to get paid. These are complex situation in practice, and my reasoning is that why should the government even create a policy like this? If you are a sick person, you are given to go through this complexity. It is very unreal, and a lot of professionals may not have the time to deal with this type of complexity. Employment lawyers are very difficult. They are very expensive. They are very difficult to find. This is a specialist area, and it is all this problem. If you have your member of parliament or any connection with anybody in politics, in government, is best to really start a process of really raising this up with authorities, with politicians, because politicians are the ones who make this policy, and the civil service system are the ones given left to wrestle with it. If you go to the Department of Work and Pension or to the tax office, for example, and also maybe to other government program, you find that there's a lack of resourcing, and it's so difficult to get adequate independent advice and support. And this, in practice, is a form of nightmare, and this creates a lot of problems. In practical terms, stay tuned, continue watching. Thank you so much. Good morning. So we are talking about work and pay, and when you are sick and when you don't get paid, and how to get paid sickness payment. So we have been talking about, among other things, in the process of getting paid, how to get a fit note. We watch from the beginning of this material, and if you're sick for more than 7 days, you should get a fit note. You can get a fit note from the following healthcare professionals. A GP or a doctor at a hospital. When we talk about GP in the United Kingdom, we are talking about family doctors. They're called general practitioners, or a doctor at a hospital. When we talk about hospital, we mean the main hospital, which is generic, and a registered nurse, which is a professional healthcare worker, a registered nurse. You can get a fit note from them. A pharmacy or a pharmacist, and occupational therapies, or a physiotherapist. It is easy to say, but not so easy to do. If you are sick and you need FitNote immediately, one way or the other, you may be to provide proof that you are sick, which I still say is bad policy, because somebody is sick. The worker from the Department of Work and Pension, all they have to do is make a phone call to your employer to confirm that you are sick, and all the sickness benefits should be paid from one source, from the government department, which is the Department of Work and Pension. It should not be paid by the tax office. It should not be paid by employers. The system of welfare support should not be broken up, and also making it extremely complicated. It's too complicated to get it, and this is actually distributed across the departments, and also everywhere you try to find public service, public support. The complexity of accessing help, including in the hospital, including within the Department of Work and Pension, with all the sectors within the local authorities, within the voluntary sector, which is auxiliary services to providing public service. All this complexity is sending a rude message, a bad message, that the government is closed down for services, is not really wanting to help, either deliberately or inadvertently. Either way, we need to be speakers or on our own behalf. I know we elect political leaders, but if we don't speak out, we are going to wake up one morning into an empty country in Britain or in any part of the world, in Europe or America. The public sector will have been closed down. There is the politics of privatization, which is the way of closing down the public sector. If the public sector is closed down, people who are not multimillionaires and multimillionaires will be excluded from accessing any resources. This is a serious matter. I use bits and pieces of information to illustrate the broader point of politics and also ideological tendencies and issues of environment or even the legal system, which all, if you look together, is just find that if you don't have money, you cannot access justice, because lawyers are extremely expensive, though important though they are. And this all have been trying to produce some form of sensibility. We are a small channel, we lack visibility, but that is okay. We are a work in progress. As soon as we begin to gain more momentum, we are going to be more effective in trying to explain this thing. But it doesn't matter if we are few, it doesn't matter if we are many. We need to understand the issues and also be involved. And thank you so much for everything you have been doing. It doesn't matter how little or how big it is for this channel. Subscribing and also talking to your family and friends to encouraging them to subscribe, especially if you like what I'm talking about. And you can give me lip service and like it, but what I want is actually support, so that this channel grows, so that we do more things with this channel. So thank you so much. We still talk about these things. Your FitNote will be either printed or digital. Digital means it's electronic. Printed is what we all know, the way things used to be, but increasingly systems are becoming digitized. We talk about nanotechnology, even increasingly actually replacing a digital age. Nano age is replacing digital age. But for now, we still can print things, we can get things in digitized form. If you're not sure which kind you will get and how you'll get it, check with the healthcare professionals. So these are some of the finer details which people may or may not pay attention to. It is my exercising here to draw this, and also nicely as well, if possible. I draw attention to these scenarios. If you get a printed FitNote, check that the healthcare professional has signed it. This little detail important. It is a complication nonetheless created by the government, which has lost its way, to be honest, because if you are just trying to get money, you have to provide all this evidence. You have to go through all this complication. And if you don't do it, you're not going to get help. And the level of help is so little. People get so stressed. People get so confused. People get so frustrated because even the advisors who are trained to give support to people who need help have limited capacity because it's all about funding. The government is not funding our public sector. And if it doesn't fund the public sector, the social sector suffer, like employment sector. The employment sector, in terms of dispute between employer, especially the small and medium businesses, any employer should not be involved in the welfare benefit system, which the statutory sick pay is. The government should be directly dealing with this departmentally, because the government is closing down the public sector. It has created a lot of complication, which makes it almost impossible to get any help. I cannot help myself, but just trying to put this point. I mean, if you get a digital fit note, check with the professional, healthcare professional, if the healthcare professional has either signed your fit note or included their name, it could be rejected by your employer and you might have to get a new one. What is the point of all these bureaucratic processes? If the healthcare professional hasn't either signed your fit note, what if they forget? Why should you put people through this mess? As you can listen for yourself, I mean, a professional can forget to sign it. You can forget to sign it, and you have to do it all over again. You are already a sick person. How are you going to do it? And the professionals are not necessarily there because you don't have resources. I mean, even if they are there, they cannot be there for everybody. So this is a problem I am trying to discuss. If you're listening to this, even if you are just one person, think about it. You could make a major difference to your life or to the life of people around you if you start talking about this, drawing government attention, because I don't think the government setting this policy understand the problem the British people go through. There's a lot of poverty in Britain because of complications in terms of public policies, the way I am trying to go through, which is really unnecessary bureaucracy, and it is tedious. If there is money, give it to the people who need it. Just make one phone call and check. If you don't believe somebody coming to you say, I'm sick, just phone the doctor. Phone the doctor yourself. Don't send somebody who is sick to bring evidence. That is not good. If somebody even phone or somebody phone on you, if I am a sick person, how do you expect me to even, I might not be able to go to the hospital. I might need somebody to take me, to support me, somebody to contact the Department of Work and Pension, to my doctor. My doctors may not even answer the phone. The health professionals are running their private businesses. They may not be interested in, they may even refuse to give fit note. You see, they may refuse because they don't benefit from it. These are private businesses and they are so busy. They are coping with really, really limited resources, and they may take weeks and weeks, and you are sick, you're not being paid, you're not working, and you can even die in the process. And this is some of the things we should talk about. You should talk about. If you want to keep quiet, fine. But I'm happy I'm trying to talk about this because I have been experiencing this. I work as an advisor. People cry on the phone when I speak to them. This is my personal experience. You see, that's why I've been talking about it. So I talk about what I know. I know what people go through because I speak to them. I give them advice. And sometimes I have to sit on the phone and wait until they finish crying. This is happening now in the United Kingdom. That's why I'm talking about it. I'm not just making it up. It is my day-to-day experience. And if you ask people who are willing to talk about it, then they will talk about it if they want to. But if you don't want to, you don't force people. And so you should always keep your faith knot. If you don't lose it, you are going to be in trouble. You might have to pay for a replacement if you lose or delete it. These are sick people who are trying to get a very little amount of financial support from the government. You put them through this. So if you lose it, or if it is deleted by mistake, you may be asked to pay. You might not even have a penny to pay for it. So what are you going to do if you don't have a faith knot? You're not going to have... So you can give your employer a copy. If you have a copy for it. I mean, your employer may even lose it. If your employer loses it, there's nothing you have really. You may have to go and get another one. And all these things are like what you see in horror stories that is happening in Britain. So you talk about faith knot. We don't even, a lot of people do not know what faith knot is. But this is something you have to do. It doesn't matter how sick, even if you are unconscious. You're unconscious. When you're unconscious, you'll be in the hospital. That would be a different procedure. And what different procedure is it? It's all about money. It's all about support. So you talk about faith knot. What it says, what should your faith knot say? That you are not fit for work. If you say something else, then you're in trouble. That you might be fit for work. You are not fit for work, but you might be fit for work. You might be fit for work is uncertain. And means you are sick, but you might... What point about fitness is that? The government has designed a policy around benefit. And this, in my opinion, this is a deliberate policy to prevent people from accessing policy benefit. The reason they want to prevent people from accessing benefit because they're closing down the public sector. They do not want to tell the truth. That is what I think. That's why they confuse the system. They are confused. Politicians who make policies are confused. And they have to learn their culture and get out of confusion and start running the country effectively. Especially this message goes to the Labour Party, who just came into power. If you think privatization is the solution to every problem in this country, you are wrong. Because it is privatization of the public service sector, which provides the public service, which has created all these horror stories. And it is either purposeful or totally produced in recklessness or without any sense of care, that people find it impossible to access public service. This is just an example of how difficult it is to get public service. So if your fit note says you might be fit for work, the healthcare professional can recommend the type of work you might be able to do. They don't do that in practice because, see, they say this so that you are not given help. It's a sick person. There is an argument which says you are sick but you can work, you are able to work, and therefore you don't get help at all. Because you see, you are sick, you live in Britain, you don't have land, you don't grow your own food, you don't build your own house. The government, you have to depend on the government, on the state. The government took over your country, and now they're turning around and say, we don't want people who depend on the government. I mean, how ridiculous is that? You took over the land in Britain, you gave it to the super rich. You gave land to the King of England, to the royal family. You gave land to multimillionaires, they're called landlords. To the multimillionaires, you took this land from the British people. And this is a problem in the world, not just in Britain, in Europe, under capitalism. Capitalism has turned into an instrument of violence. And that is the problem. Now you turn around and say, you have taken our country and given it to a few individuals. We are without a country. We lost our country. You told us, we are taking your country so that we look after you. You take my land. You take my livelihood. We are in a country in Britain now where people do not know what land is. They don't even talk about land. They talk about property. They talk about benefit. Benefit is not supposed to be given to people. It makes them slaves. Employment makes people slaves because they work for somebody else. You should have a country. You should have dignity. You should work for yourself. Grow your own food. Access technology, tractors, and all the other modern technology. Have your land, grow your own food. Do not commercialize food. Do not commercialize energy, because these are essentials. Do not commercialize medicine. We used to have herbs from the wilderness, from our land. And our foods were from our land. These were healthy. We worked on our land to grow our own food, to produce our own herbs for medicine. Our foods were our medicine. Now we don't know what producers, food producers, commercial food producers, we don't know what they put into our food. Food has become an enemy. Something which is actually designed by nature to nourish us is now malnourishing us, becoming a toxic source of death. Food is a source of life, but including drinking water. Drinking water is being contaminated now. Environmental issue is over the roof. These are some of the disadvantages because of social violence, because of political violence. We fight. We produce nuclear weapons, biological weapons. We have mpox in Africa, with monkeypox, which means black. I don't know who named that disease, who discovered it. Every time there is disease in Africa, somebody comes from abroad to discover it and to name it. They already have a name for it. Are they creating these diseases in laboratories as part of biological warfare? These are conspiracy theories. But because we need to trust our governments in the world, in Africa, out of Africa, we are globalized countries. You have experts who are not Africans, who are foreign, coming to Africa to discover diseases in Africa. Monkeypox, which means it's a black disease. Former Prime Minister, he said he caught COVID-19. Boris Johnson, Prime Minister Boris Johnson of the United Kingdom, said he caught a disease called COVID-19. He came in front of Number 10 and made a statement and said, COVID-19 is a mugger. He said, COVID-19 is a mugger. I saw it on the television. The Prime Minister of Britain described COVID-19 as a mugger. The first thing I thought resonating with the word mugger is black, young black man, a thief. And this is the stereotyping by racists in the United Kingdom, calling black men muggers. So when you find a British Prime Minister calling COVID-19 a mugger, they're basically saying it is a foreign disease and it is created by black people. That is how I felt. That is my first reaction. The Prime Minister is saying COVID-19 is a black mugger. He may be not, maybe he was ignorant, maybe he's saying, because this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now we're talking about mpox, monkeypox. White people have been calling black people monkeys. So, I mean, why should somebody name a disease and put black people? This is a black people's disease. And it started in Africa. And we don't know how it started. The same with COVID-19, the same with Ebola, the same with noting diseases. Show me diseases, cancer, HIV/AIDS. Is somebody creating diseases? It's a biological warfare because we have been creating toxic weapons, maybe around food, maybe around energy, maybe around drinking water. Maybe we have been polluting the air. We do not know. And we are in problem. We have a problem. We need to learn our culture and learn the peace. If we don't, then we are going to be in trouble. We are in the dark. And now there is a preparation for vaccination for Mpox. We don't know who created those vaccines. How much is it going to cost Africans? And what is in it? Maybe there is death in it. To kill Africans, not all Africans, to kill the people of the world as a weapon of war against humanity. What if this is true? I don't mention it, leave a comment below. Because I don't know what is in the vaccine. I don't know what Mpox is. It happened with COVID-19. There are now reports that COVID-19 is killing people. I mean, the vaccine, the effects of vaccine or long COVID or whatever. People do not know the truth. People are confused. If you are a normal person or somebody who is not normal, maybe not normal, people who are not normal, that those in power, leave a comment below if you watch this video and let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. Stay tuned and continue watching. So
some see the original, mighty the god, the magical radical. Hey, representing my magical. Young Jose, come milli. Jamaica wacha, that defta. Kina teach me kenyo Jamaica kopa. That wacha, kina damage me kenyo Jamaica wacha. That defta. Kina teach me kenyo Jamaica kopa. That defta. Kina damage me kenyo. Gangsta de kamele mele, deya, come there, we are there for the bed. We have a day, you're my baby. Every day I call you, my love, you're my treasure. Baby, got no machina, yo. Baby, quackana, yo. When it's over to Koda, baby, got the machina. Baby, got your quara. You are said bandana. You must say bandana, you must say bandana. Baby, got no tema, come and quackana. Motema, ganga, quackana. Motema, ganga, put it on my baby. When Motema, ganga, and I call you my lover. Baby, got no chawa, no. Baby, got no chawa.
Talk about sick faith. And I'm trying to make comments. So, there are rules. If you're returning to work, you can usually go back to work after the end date of your fit note. If your fit note is even given. It can expire also. If you expire, you have to start the process all over again. If you cannot prove you're sick, you cannot get anything. You do not need fit note. You do not need evidence. You just have to tell the government or your employer you're sick. That's enough. Respect people. If we were multimillionaires, we would have been respected. We are now being disrespected because of poverty, because the government took our land away from Britain. And this is what's happening across the globe. It is a form of state militancy, the state criminality, or persecuting people of the world, including in Britain, taking away our country, taking away our land. In Britain, the British people ask where your land is. The government doesn't have an answer. They do not have an answer. Where is your land? When they took your land by force in this country, they did not give it back. They gave it to the super rich, including the ruling class, the royal family, and also the government, and more government, including the Church of England, who become brutal force of a dangerous force of brutality and dictatorship in this country. The Church of England, the environmental campaigning empires, the commercial empires. You see the legal empire, the oldest emperors, people, politicians, who are all of them multimillionaires, and some of them probably multimillionaires. We do not have in Britain a multimillionaire yet, but we saw it in America. Donald Trump. They worship wealth. I have no respect for people. We need to revisit our culture today to have any prospect of peace. I've been saying this again, and I'm more than happy to say it again. You want to talk to me about it, doesn't matter who you are. Leave a comment below, let me hear. If you don't, then keep quiet, and I will continue to speak. And there will come a time when people will come to their senses and begin to ask questions about where the government took their land. Who owned land in Britain? This information is almost non-existent. If you go online, if you go to the public record office, you may not know who owns the land in this, because these lands are now private. Why is it private? Only 2 or 3% or 5% own land in Britain. The rest is also owned by the state on behalf of the super rich, because the poor are excluded. As if the poor are the majority. If you don't have land in this country, you are irrelevant. It's a matter of time. You know, your species, the pieces of people who work for a living, who are 90%. From the top of my head, 90%. You give any figure you want and deal with it. People who work for a living, the so-called middle class. Where is the lower class and the working class? Because they are all workers, they are all poor. They are getting poorer, they are losing their jobs, technology is taking away work. And multimillionaires and billionaires are the ones owning technology. And they will be closing down the economy. This will be the end of the economic age. So those without technology will be excluded from global wealth because of violence, because of political violence, because of social violence. It's a human thing. So we have to stop now and learn our culture. Our culture is the only key to achieving peace. Leave a comment below. Let me know. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're watching it, and be good to yourself, and also be happy. Maybe I'm talking about something depressing, but so it's okay. And the world is enough, and that is what we are trying to do. And we are happy we are doing it. I am happy I'm talking about this situation. I will continue to talk about it. So, you can also ask yourself how you are paid sick pay. I think I'm going to stop this material here. And I'll be talking to you in the next one. I think I've spoken enough for today. And I should be happy with myself. And like I said before, we've been talking about work. Because work is extremely important. In case you didn't realize, if you don't work for a living, you cannot succeed. But more and more, even work is going away from people who need work. There will come a time when you cannot find work anywhere because of technology. Simple as that. You think I'm right? Leave a comment below if you think I'm wrong. Leave a comment below. And talk to me, talk to somebody else if you want. You have an MP, if you have access to your MP, talk about poverty. If you want to talk about poverty, if you talk about healthcare, talk about healthcare. But we need our culture back. Because we are humans, because this is our inheritance. The land is a type of inheritance. I mean, if you are a British government, then you should give back our land in Britain. Where is the land? We are supposed to grow our own food. Now we have to rely on the supermarket. We have to buy food and energy. Energy is now being supplied by the energy company. They are private companies. Our energy should come from land, from our land. We should be the one drilling our energy for our consumption without having going to the shop to buy food, to buy energy, to buy shelter. We have to build our own home on our own land, and this land is free. The government has no right to charge the British people to buy land. Land is free, and the British people, government, should give us back our land and give us also our money which they took by force. Our money is supposed to be in the treasury. Our money should be in the Bank of England. And our money should also be in every bank across the world, whichever country. Our money should be given back to us so that we use the money to build our own houses on our own land. It doesn't matter what the size of our land. We want our land back from the government, from the state. You took our land, you took our money. So we now need our land. Give us back our land. Give back our money. Stop taxing us because you're not helping us. Our tax, when we pay taxes, you give it to the multimillionaires and multi-billionaires. You don't provide public service. You shut it down. You want us to die. We don't deserve to die. We deserve to live no more, no less than the super rich, the multi-billionaires and the multi-billionaires. And this is a kind of wickedness produced by violence, years and decades of cultural distortion. We fought world wars. We used nuclear weapons in Japan. We, humans, forget about America. Forget about Japan. This is humans, us. This is what we are able to. If we don't learn our culture, if we don't learn our peace, we are in serious trouble. Beginning now, if you are an individual, don't wait for the government. You be a champion of peace. Start changing the way you think. Start valuing your life. Start valuing the life of a fellow human. That is the beginning of change. For better. Because our life is our destiny. If we don't do something about it at individual level, we continue to blame the government for everything. We are going to be in serious trouble because we are no better than the government. I am not talking about the system. The system is created by humans. Humans can use any system and succeed to bring peace. The problem is humanity, which doesn't and lost out on its cultural values. Humans do not know how to live peacefully. Capitalism is not the problem. The market system is not the problem. We can use whatever system we need to use and succeed. It doesn't matter what we call it. We call it socialism. We call it communism. These are not the problem. The problem is us. Look at the Middle East. Why is Israel fighting the Arabs in Gaza? The war in the Gaza. Israel is shooting school, but there are information coming that there are actually terrorists in schools. Why do you put terrorists in school? If it is true, why do you put terrorists in school? Or freedom fighter, or fighting force, why do you hide them in schools? And if Israel learns there are enemies in schools and hospitals, it's going to bomb schools and hospitals. I don't know the truth. But these are information now coming. We don't know the truth. Is Israel evil? Are Arabs evil? Yes, they are. Because they are humans. Not because they are Arabs. Not because of they are Israel. They are humans. We are evil people. We humans. And some people may say I'm insulting them. I am not, because I'm talking about myself also. I am inviting myself to become human. Being human is realizing how wrong we are. And beginning the process of learning to respect ourselves, respecting other people. We have no respect for humans. We don't have respect for ourselves. We don't have respect for other people. That tells the thing, our value in the integration of our value system. You respect yourself, respect money, respect when I'm not despising wealth, I'm not despising anything. We have the ability to take any item, to money, wealth, land, whatever, and make the best use of it as humans and instrumentalize the same to promote wealth, health, and healthcare, and well-being, and producing peace and happiness. Because we will have learned our cultural precepts, cultural principles. There is a thing called right. There's a thing called wrong. The right thing is to know the truth. You are the truth. You are a human being. You are at the center of the universe. If we learn this truth, then we become agents of change, we become agents of peace. We can achieve this, and I invite everybody under the sound of my voice to listen and leave a comment, engage with me, or just do your own thing. But if you are lucky enough to listen to this, fine. If not, then maybe one day in the future you will listen to this. This thing is recorded, as to the extent that it is actually left on the platform of YouTube. You will one day listen to it, and if I don't have YouTube, I will be speaking using whatever is available so that people learn the truth, and the truth to set them free. If we practice wickedness, it is us, not just the government, not the multimillionaires. The poor people are not excluded from the obligation to be good people. Because you see, if the poor people access wealth, they'll probably be worse than the rich people. This is not a problem between the rich and the poor. It's a problem of humanity. It's lack of education, specifically lack of cultural education. We don't value as our lives. We do with respect. And respect, you cannot really behave like the Arabs or the Israel against each other. You cannot behave the way Ukrainians are behaving with Russia. When Ukrainians are killed, a human being is being killed. You see, it's like we are making judgments about certain humans not deserving. The Ukrainians think Russians do not deserve to live, and vice versa. Russia. I mean, probably Russia now are determined to destroy Ukrainians. These are just a sign. These are signs. There is no truth in it at all. There is a form of insanity. People are fighting in Russia. People are fighting in Ukraine. People are fighting in the Middle East. There is disease, mpox in Africa. We don't know anything. Maybe it's part of cultural violence, cultural violations. We don't know where these diseases come from. And that is the situation. King Charles is in Portsmouth, wherever. Our people are killed there. I mean to say, are we blind? I mean to say, when are we going to stop killing one another? I walk on the street in fear. I unlock myself like a prisoner. In my home, in my office, in my car, in the toilet. We are prisoners. We are creators of our prisons. In our societies, we are responsible for human wrong. We are responsible together. We cannot blame anybody. We have to own up and face up to our demons and begin a process of healing. And that is why I'm actually going through this process, because I know these processes are supposed to work. But it cannot work if we are dishonest, if we lie, if we are thieves, if we behave like thieves and murderers. Anything we do, it doesn't matter how good it is, we will destroy it. I will say this again. I will continue to say this. You may like me for it, but it's my right to speak. It's called human right. I have the right to speak. If I'm wrong, you have the right to talk to me. If you are violent, you are wrong. If you think you should fight because somebody is telling the truth, you are wrong. And human wrong will not triumph over good. Evil will never triumph about. It doesn't matter who is speaking. If I'm speaking, if you are speaking, that is the right thing to do. And that is actually the roadmap to survival, to peace, and survival of humanity. If we stop thinking, the day we stop thinking that we will be committing suicide. But you see, somebody is speaking. If I don't speak, somebody else will speak. That is the hope, the sign of hope. And as long as we speak the truth, humanity will have a chance, and we, as the people, will have the last say. When I say people who stand for humanity on the side of good, other than on the side of evil. You believe that people is the number one. A human being, a human life is the number one priority. You begin to value a human life, then you are on the right side of history. You are on the right side of the conversation, and you will have the last say. We will win. There is no way we cannot win. We cannot lose when we are telling the truth. And telling the truth means you tell the truth about the value of a human life, and you will win. And that is a must. You are not really requested. You are instructed to value your life. Some people may say, you don't control my life. Yes, I do. Because your life is connected to mine. If you die, I cry. I hurt. I don't want to cry. I don't want to hurt. You may think you are a very clever person. You can commit suicide. I don't want you. If I have the power, I will actually punish you for trying to commit suicide. Because you are interfering with my life. I am human. I care about humanity. If something happened to a human life, I suffer. I don't want to suffer because you are an idiot. You are an idiot because you don't value your life. You live like a dog. You throw your life away. You cannot do that. That is the bottom line. People should have to come to terms with the idea of individualism. We are a community. We are a family. And this is the right thing to do. Oh, you are now a dictator. So, you may be a Democrat. You may be a libertarian. But you use your freedom to disrespect yourself, to disrespect other people, to destroy your life, to destroy the life of other people, to destroy humanity. What is the value of freedom? Freedom is nothing if we use it for evil. We must use freedom for doing what is right. And that is the argument that is at the core of this understanding. Talk to me if you want to talk to me. Be quiet if you cannot talk to me. Thank you so much for attending today. And I'm so happy you came. And I'm also very happy that I spoke. I will continue to speak. And because I have spoken, there is hope for humanity. Because somewhere, somehow, somebody is going to listen to this. It may not occur to them now. But maybe after 50 years, 100 years, 500 years, or 1,000 years, if this information is on record, somebody will come. Somebody will discover it, and we will start a process of healing for humanity, which is what we need. What medicine we need, which is our culture, the restoration, the relearning, the unlearning of human wrong, and the relearning of human right. I keep saying this over again. And thank you again, and over and over and over again. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bako nyinge